Most folks are told that aging skin in your 50s is a problem you solve by finding the right product. Pick the right active ingredient, buy the right bottle, and the years will soften themselves. I've watched people chase that idea for a long time, and I'll tell you plainly, it mostly doesn't hold up. The skincare industry has a strong financial interest in you believing your skin is broken, and only something they sell can fix it. The global skincare market crossed $180 billion in 2023, and a meaningful portion of that revenue depends on a customer who feels perpetually behind. But Amish women who have no relationship with that industry at all, tend to age with a kind of quiet, unhurried grace that is hard to dismiss. And the reason, when you look at it carefully, has nothing to do with serums, or expensive actives, or a 10-step routine. It has everything to do with a handful of steady, simple habits, practiced faithfully over a lifetime. I've spent years paying close attention to the way traditional communities care for themselves, and what I keep coming back to is this. Amish women don't have a skincare routine the way it's been sold to the rest of us. They have a way of living, and in your 50s especially, that distinction matters more than most people realize. 2 myths worth knocking down before we go any further. First, the idea that you need harsh exfoliating acids to renew aging skin. Skin in your 50s is thinner, slower to recover, and more sensitive to disruption than it was 20 years ago. Stripping it repeatedly to force faster cell turnover often backfires. It can leave skin drier, more reactive, and less resilient. Second, the expensive collagen cream that promises to rebuild from the outside in. The collagen molecule is generally too large to pass through the skin's surface. What you're mostly buying is a moisturizer dressed in impressive language. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what Amish women actually do, and don't do, to keep their skin healthy and firm well into later life. You'll understand which habits genuinely support skin structure in your 50s, which ones are worth starting this week, and you'll have a different, calmer relationship with the whole idea of facial rejuvenation. You'll walk away knowing more than the person behind the counter trying to sell you something. If you want all of this written out in a simple companion guide, it's in the description below. It's free. I won't mention it again. Let's start with what Amish women understand about what's actually happening to skin in your 50s. Because once you understand the mechanism, the rest of this makes complete sense. Skin changes in midlife in a few specific, well-understood ways. Oil production slows. The layer of fat just beneath the skin's surface begins to thin. Collagen production decreases, not because your body has given up, but because the signals that used to trigger that production have quieted down. And the skin's barrier, the outermost layer that holds moisture in and irritants out, becomes less efficient at its job. What this means practically is that your skin in your 50s doesn't need more products thrown at it. It needs consistent, gentle support. It needs moisture held in rather than stripped away. It needs circulation kept moving, and it needs the barrier respected rather than constantly disrupted. Amish women, without ever using that clinical language, manage all 4 of those things through habits so ordinary you might walk right past them. The first one is the simplest, and it is the one I would start with if I were starting over. Amish women have used simple, whole oils on their skin for generations. Tallow rendered from grass-fed animals, raw lard, or plant oils, like sunflower and sweet almond. Nothing added, nothing extracted, just the fat, as close to its natural state as possible. The way I see it, this makes real sense. Human skin has been coated in and supported by natural animal and plant fats for most of human history. Our great-grandmothers didn't have a serum. They had a small jar of something simple sitting by the wash basin. A very thin application of a clean, pure oil, pressed gently into slightly damp skin, holds moisture in without disrupting the barrier. It doesn't send competing signals. It doesn't introduce a dozen synthetic compounds at once. If I had to point to one single practice that explains part of why traditionally raised Amish women tend to age calmly, it would be this one. Whole, simple fat, used sparingly, used consistently, costs almost nothing. Now, I promised you something specific a little later in this video, the one common approach that quietly undoes all the good habits people build. Hold that thought. We'll get there. The second thing Amish women do, and almost no one in the modern skincare conversation talks about this, is facial movement. Not a formal massage routine pulled from a YouTube tutorial, just the natural movement of a face that spends a lot of time outdoors, in conversation, working with its hands, not staring at a flat screen. Circulation matters for skin. Blood carries oxygen and nutrients to the cells that build and repair. When circulation is sluggish, skin tends to look dull and sallow, and repair happens slowly. Light facial massage, just using clean fingertips to press and move gently along the jaw, the cheekbones, the temples, and down the neck, done for a few minutes in the evening, encourages lymphatic drainage and brings fresh blood to the surface. It costs nothing. It takes about 3 minutes. In my experience, it is one of those practices that shows results gradually enough that people dismiss it, but steadily enough that the people who stick with it quietly look better over time. The Amish don't call it a technique. They just use their hands. That's enough. Third, cold water. I know that sounds too plain to matter, but stay with me. Amish women have historically rinsed their faces with cold water. Well water, spring water, whatever came from the pump. Cold water briefly constricts the small blood vessels near the surface, which has a toning, firming effect. It also seals the outer layer of the skin after cleansing, rather than leaving it open and reactive. And critically, cold water doesn't strip the skin's natural oils the way hot water does. Hot water feels luxurious. It also dissolves the lipids that hold your skin's barrier together. The careful old way was cool or cold water, a plain cloth, and enough gentleness to leave the skin intact. If you've been washing your face with hot water for years, I'd encourage you to try this for 2 weeks and notice the difference. It may be the lowest cost adjustment on this entire list. Fourth, and this is where the picture gets wider, Amish women eat differently. Not perfectly, not according to any modern nutritional framework, but in ways that consistently support skin. They eat animal fats, full-fat dairy, eggs, and foods that have not been stripped of their natural fat content. The fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K depend on dietary fat to be absorbed, and all 4 of them play a role in skin health and repair. Vitamin A supports skin cell turnover at a deep level. Vitamin E is a natural antioxidant that protects cell membranes. Vitamin D is involved in the skin's immune function, and these vitamins show up together in traditional whole foods: liver, butter, egg yolk, whole milk. A single tablespoon of pastured beef liver delivers more preformed vitamin A than most people get in a week of modern eating. When I look at how modern low-fat dietary advice has intersected with the decline in skin quality across several generations, I find it hard to write off the connection. The Amish never switched to low-fat, and it may have quietly served them. Now here is the one I promised you earlier, the common habit that quietly undoes everything else: over-cleansing. This is the one almost everyone gets backwards. The assumption is that cleaner is better, and that if some cleansing is good, twice a day with a foaming face wash is better still. But foaming cleansers, particularly the kind that leave your skin feeling squeaky tight afterward, are often disrupting the same protective barrier you are trying to support. That tight, clean feeling is not health. It is the sensation of natural lipids being removed. Amish women have historically used either plain water or a very mild soap, true soap, made with fat and lye, not a synthetic detergent, and they use it sparingly. Many nights, just warm water and a soft cloth. That's it. If you are over-cleansing, you may be systematically undoing the good work of everything else on this list. This is the one to look at first. Fifth, and this one surprises people, shade and covering. Amish women wear bonnets. They wear long sleeves. They work outdoors significantly, but they are generally covered. Sun exposure is the single most well-established external contributor to premature skin aging. Accumulated UV damage over decades breaks down collagen, causes uneven pigmentation, and thins the skin. Dermatologists studying identical twins have found that the twin with greater lifetime sun exposure consistently shows measurably more wrinkling and laxity by their 50s, regardless of other habits. The Amish didn't develop their approach to covering as a skincare strategy, but the effect on the skin is real and cumulative. You don't need to wear a bonnet, but if you have spent decades in the sun without protection, the evidence is almost certainly on your face, and reducing casual, unprotected daily sun exposure now, even in your 50s, can slow further change. It is one of those things I wish more people had been told plainly at 40. Sixth, and this ties the whole picture together, is the value of routine over novelty. Amish women don't switch products every season. They don't cycle through trends. They use the same simple things, the same simple way, year after year. And this matters for skin more than most people realize. Skin responds to consistency. It adjusts to what it reliably receives. When you rotate through 10 different active ingredients chasing the next improvement, you never give your skin the chance to stabilize and function well. The way I've come to see it, most skin problems in your 50s are not problems of too little treatment. They are problems of too much disruption and too little steadiness. Faithfulness to simple practices is not exciting. The skincare industry makes no money from it, but I've watched it work quietly over time, and that's what I keep coming back to. So let's bring all of this together. What Amish women know about facial rejuvenation in your 50s is not a secret formula. It is a collection of steady, respectful habits. A whole, simple oil applied thinly to clean, damp skin, light movement with the fingertips to keep circulation honest, cool water that preserves the barrier rather than stripping it, dietary fat that carries the vitamins your skin cells need, gentle, minimal cleansing that leaves the skin's defense intact, reasonable protection from daily sun, and above all, the discipline to do the same simple things, the same simple way, without chasing novelty. There is no money in teaching folks the simple thing that actually works, which means you are unlikely to hear it from anyone trying to sell you something. But you heard it here. This week, I'd encourage you to try just 2 things. Switch to cool water for your evening rinse, and replace your cleanser one night with nothing but a damp cloth, and see how your skin feels in the morning. This month, look at whether you want to bring a simple oil, just one, into your routine. And from here on, look with a little more skepticism at anything promising rejuvenation from a distance. If any of this connects with something you or someone in your family has done over the years, I'd genuinely love to hear it. Drop your experience in the comments below. Those conversations are always the best part of this. And if you've been watching for a while without subscribing, now's a good time. We keep things simple and honest here, and there's more coming. Next, we're going to look at the Amish approach to age spots and uneven skin tone, because that's the one thing a lot of folks in their 50s are most quietly bothered by. And the old answer is much less complicated than what's being sold for it. I'll see you there.